Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Insight, the show that we do about things that you need to know that happen in our community. And I'm very glad today to have my friend Pat Welch on to talk about the Sports Hall of Fame and the induction that's going to be taking place soon. Pat, welcome.
Welcome, John. Thank you, and I hope we can be a little insightful here.
We will be insightful. We will be insightful, and you know, Pat, you've been involved with this pretty much ever since its inception, haven't you?
I think fairly early, yes. This is going to be our fourth set of inductees, I believe,
okay.
and we've got some great people going in, and we've got some great people that have already been enshrined.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to bring to you today, and we'll take a quick commercial break right now and be back with more about the Tullahoma Sports Hall of Fame.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Hey, we're back, and we're trying to figure. I've got my buddy Pat Welch here with us today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Tullahoma Sports Hall of Fame.
John, the annual banquet is coming up February the 4th, and we'll be recognizing, inducting 6 groups. The 1990 THS Baseball State Championship team, and then individuals are going to be Mark Moran, Clester Winningham, Kenneth Pack, Whitney Darlington Morris, and Coach John Olive. And it's a great night. If you've never been down there, they bring a contractor in from Nashville that changes D.W. Wilson into something that looks like you think you're in a banquet room at Opryland.
All right.
Really, really nice job with it.
And does that include a meal? Tell us, what does that include? Does that include a meal?
A really nice meal. The social hour starts at 5:30. The dinner starts at 6:30, and soon after the dinner, you better eat quick because then the ceremony starts. And this is going to be, I believe, our 4th class of inductees. We start off with bigger classes, and the idea is once we get several classes in, then we'll be down probably to 3 or 4 a year. But this year we have 6, and they're all deserving,
noteworthy and
yes.
deserving.
Yes.
So, how do you get to go to that thing?
You can call or go
buy a ticket.
You can buy a ticket. They're $70 a piece, and they are available at Householder Artman and Bean, First Bank, and Nature's Elite. There are not many tickets left. There's about 300, and almost all of them are gone, but there still are some tickets. But I would encourage anybody that wants to go to get a hold of one of those businesses today as soon as possible and get the ticket.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about who these cats are.
All right. Let me get my list there,
you
please.
want your playbill? There you go.
The first one is the 1990 state championship baseball team. It's coached by Jerry Mathis, who of course is in the TSSAA Hall of Fame and some baseball Hall of Fames. And he was assisted by John Husky, and the members of that team were Harry Keller, Kylie Maupin, Gary Phillips, Scott Johnson, Mike Smith, Andy Akers, Kevin Suits, Chris Barnes, Andy Stone, Keith McFarlane, Philip Davis, Chad Hatfield, Ted Farrell, Chris Rickman, Todd Branch, Troy Wilson, Craig Revis, Mark Fitzgerald, Tony Sheffield, Greg Cope, Jeremy Winters, Mark Matisich, Jay Pruitt, Wesley Petty, Todd Waller, Robert Prosser, Chris Bunch, and if I didn't say Coach Mathis's assistant was John Husky. Normally the state finals there are 4 teams, and I believe that year this was in the AA division or AA. Marion County, Milan, Tullahoma, and the closest game that Tullahoma was in, they beat Marion County 3-2 in one game, but all the other games were 10 runs or more. They had a fine baseball team, and there were several of those players that I read out were college players and also played in the minor league systems for several years. Several of them did. The next one we have is Mark Moran. I don't know if you can get a close up of Mark.
Yeah, she can do it.
Okay. There he is. And Mark is really our first kind of volunteer or supporter. And I've lived here, and you have too, John,
Sure.
a long time, but I don't know of anybody that's got more time invested in athletics in Tullahoma with children not involved. Now, he had 2 boys that were fine athletes, but they were there at the same time, primarily overlapped a couple of years, but he ran the Mullins Football League, was president of that league for 25 years. He was involved in Little League Baseball for 16 as a coach, a league president, and assistant district administrator, which means you run the all-star tournaments at the first level, and that can be a nightmare.
A nightmare,
yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
It's fun for everybody but the guy running the show.
That's right. He was the head of the Tullahoma Quarterback Club, raised an unbelievable amount of money, and been just a tremendous supporter of our THS football team. He was president for 22 years. Now, that doesn't involve in the years he wasn't president. He was involved probably in the quarterback club for over 30. And he was involved in the Tullahoma Wrestling, the takedown club. When he first moved to Tullahoma, the first time he heard about wrestling, he was wondering where the turnbuckles and the ropes were. He had never seen a scholastic or freestyle match, and he ended up helping coach for over 30 years. He was, and he ran all the tournaments for about 15 years, high school down to kindergartners, and nobody has got more time invested in the youth of Tullahoma than Mark Moran, and I can't think of anybody more deserving.
Well, I think I'm sitting right next to one
I can't match him.
That's given a lot as well.
I can't match him. Let's go to the next one. Will be Whitney Darlington Morris. She currently teaches PE at THS. She's assistant girls softball coach, and she's assistant strength coach for the THS football. And here is her picture, if we can zoom in on her. Here we go.
Did she play college ball?
She did. She's at the high school. She was most valuable player freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior years. She was all district sophomore, junior, and senior year. She was all mid-state. She holds a record at THS softball for batting average, hits, home runs, triples, on-base average, steals, and career batting average, which was 5.7.
That's all of it.
That's a 5.7. I don't know if they got another record. She went out to Milo for 2 years. She was Outstanding Leadership Softball Award, broke a season record for triples, career record for triples, tied the career stolen base record with 82, two-time all-conference selection. She from there went to Middle Tennessee, where she won the MTSU Blue Raider Award. She was a Sun Belt Conference Commissioner's List Award. Outstanding Major of the Year, ESPN Magazine All District 4 by ESPN. She played professionally in Sweden. We can go on and on. She's married to Chase Morris, who also is at the high school, and it'd be hard to say that she doesn't deserve to be in the Tullahoma Sports Hall of Fame.
That's pretty special.
Keep them coming, John.
Okay, what do you want next?
Whichever one you want to feed me.
I want to go to this. Let's go right here.
All right.
That guy right there.
Clester Winningham.
All of them are special, but he's a
He
special
may be
guy.
one of the most unrecognized.
Yep.
How's that? Clester came to THS sometime in the mid-'80s, I believe. He was the head freshman football coach for a long time, and he was head track coach for a long time. I believe he was the first faculty advisor for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes when it was first started. But the track is what most people don't really recognize. I got on the TWSAA records last night, and the 7 largest schools in the Tullahoma area that were the 7 other old Central Tennessee Conference schools together and this goes back into the 50s, they combined for 6 individual state champions or relay teams. And that goes back as far as 1952 and 53. Chevrolet had a shot putter that won the state 70 years ago. So we're talking a 70-year period. Our area combined for 6 individual or relay state championships in a 70-year period. And that same period, Tullahoma had 18, and Clester had 14 of those 18.
My goodness.
It's a pretty incredible record. And the first one would have started with, somebody like Antonio London that's in the Sports Hall of Fame. He high jumped his sophomore year at state meet 6 feet 10 inches as a sophomore, and he eventually grew up to be 6'3" or 4" and 240 or something like that when he was playing professional football. That's hard to believe a man that big could high jump 6 foot 10 inches when he was a sophomore in high school. But Clester coached him and 13 other individuals or relay state champions.
Right.
And he's coming in from Florida. When he retired, he went to Florida, and he ended up being a volunteer coach down there for a school in Florida, and was able to coach 2 of his grandsons in both football and track. And while he was at Tullahoma, he coached his 3 sons here in football and track. So
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do right now, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the rest.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, we're back, and Pat Welch here with me today, and we're talking about the Tullahoma Sports Hall of Fame celebration that's getting ready to come up. And Pat, we have a couple more we need to talk about.
We've got 2 more. First, we'll go with
this
Mr.
guy
Kenneth
right
H.
here.
Pack.
Kenneth Herbert Peter Pack. And he has been, we became friends on Druid Lane when I was 2 years old and he was 3. And we've been friends, tight friends ever since. And this is probably as deserving as, they're all deserving, but,
Yes.
but Kenny has done great service, not only to the Tullahoma area, but to Tullahoma, but for the whole area in taking over for his dad, Bill Sr., as commissioner of referees.
Yes, and that is a tough job. We're really suffering for officials in almost every sport in the TWSAA, and you know, that's why they're playing football games on Thursday night. They don't have enough officials to play them all on Friday. But Kenny started refereeing in 1969, and he called his last football game in 2020. So he got a 50-year period in working ball games. He in basketball, but not many people know he started off calling basketball too. He called 4 sub-state TWSAA games, which is the last game before the state tournament. He's been the supervisor, as you point out, John, for Central Tennessee football officials since 1994. He coached in refereed in 2 football games that were all PACs. Mr. Pack was the head official, and he called with all 5 of his sons. That's pretty unusual. Didn't just do it once. They did a pack of PACs.
That's a pack of PACs
twice.
Right,
he officiated in 8 TWSAA state championship games, one short of his father's record, and I got to feel like that was purposeful, that he didn't go over his dad. He was inducted in the TWSAA Hall of Fame as an official in 2009. He was named the Outstanding Football Official in Tennessee by the National Federation in 1994. He was named the Prep Official of the Year by the Lawrenceburg Quarterback Club in 1999. They used to have a tremendous banquet, and that was a really well-recognized banquet. He received the A.F. Bridges Award for officials in 2008. He officiated college football in the Ohio Valley Conference for 25 years. He officiated in 1AA playoff games for 15 years, worked 4 semifinal games, and 1 final game. We may be running out of time, John, but I don't care.
No,
I'm just going to keep on going. I'm not going to mention the gentleman's name, but it was a well-known NFL player who played in the 1AA level. And he came out, everybody, the PACs were sticklers for the rules and going by the rules, and the college rule was that everybody's dressed the same. Well, this great player came out, everybody had on white socks, but he had barbershop pole, candy stripe, green and white ones. And so, and was a pretty carefree individual. And Mr. Pack, as Kenneth went up to the head coach and said, you need to do something about the socks. And he said, what do you mean? He said, nobody else has made us do anything about the socks. He said, well, I'm not sure about everybody else, but I can tell you this, if he comes out here at the kickoff and he's still got those socks on, you're going to start 15 yards behind. And when they went back in the dressing room before the game started, came back, he had only white socks on. That may be my favorite Kenny Pack officiating story. His father, Bill, is in the TWSAA Hall of Fame, the National High School Hall of Fame, and he was inducted into the Tullahoma Sports Hall of Fame in 2019, and this is going to be the great for the Pack family, and Kenny by himself is worthy of the inclusion. And our last, maybe possibly the most deserving, is Coach John Olive. And John helped Clester with the FCA when he first came, and when Clester retired, then he became the huddle leader. And it's kind of neat that both the long-term FCA advisors are going to be inducted in the Tullahoma Hall of Fame at the same time. He provided a sketch, and there's nothing in here but family. You know, we know his wife Cherie, we know his children, but there's not much else in here. So I had to dig it up, and we're going to brag on him here a little bit. Oh, one thing he pointed out, he's been at King's Cross Church since 1996, and when he first started there, he said he was the Bible study leader for the youth, and now it's for the old men. He had 229 career wins as a head coach in Tennessee. 203 of those were at THS. He made 23 trips to the TLOSAA playoffs and culminated in 2021 with a 15-0 in the 4A state championship. And a lot of times people are not aware there were only 2 teams in the privates and in the publics that in 2021 were undefeated, and Tullahoma was one of them. Oakland High School was the other. And what we want to pay tribute to our good friend Benny Garrick and others that were concerned mostly with a man's record against Manchester, and that was 24-5.
There you go.
John Olive has probably been the most influential person to the youth in Tullahoma, maybe ever, and he certainly is deserving to be in our Hall of Fame.
Well, you know, I've done not all of the John Olive fifth quarter shows, but
did a lot of them.
A whole lot of them, at least 50% or more. And you know, I've said this before. There was a thing done for John at Grace Baptist several years ago, and everybody talked about their kids and how great it was that their kids got to play for John Olive and be around John Olive. And when all of that was said, I felt a need to stand up and say, you're talking about your kids being better kids because of being around John Olive. I'm a better man because of being around John Olive. It wasn't just our children that John Olive has affected. He's affected our whole community.
Yeah, certainly has. The Sports Council at this banquet recognizes anybody that's had a state level type of achievement. And so there'll be 2 young ladies that will be recognized. One of those is Brindley Duncan, and she won the Tennessee Middle School State Championship in the 800 and track in last spring. And Lily Story won the AAA state championship. Both of these girls won an 800-meter race. And both of them, I saw both races, and both of them were right on the shoulder of the lead person, lead girl, till about 100 or 200 yards out. And I mean, both of them had 2 fine kicks to become state champions.
They put a Georgia whooping on them at the end.
At the end, they were well ahead. Yeah. John,
what about your sponsors? Let's get your sponsors.
Let's get the sponsors. L&H Distributing has been the title sponsor for every year of the banquet. And this year, a major sponsor is going to be First Bank, but all those sponsors are Adult Pediatric Dermatology, Traders Bank, Heart and Hospital, Matt Nichols, DDS, Ascend Federal Credit Union, Lester Green, McCord and Toma, Bowman Media, Coffee County Bank, and Russell Barnett Ford. And John, that's just about, we've run it.
That's about it.
As far as we can run.
That's about it. Yeah. And you say this is our 4th year.
I believe it's the 4th
of the banquet. When was this concept put together? Give us a brief history on that.
Just previous, about 5 years previous, Lane Curley, when he was mayor, one of his yearly initiatives was to start Sports Council. And that body is to try to promote sports in Tullahoma and hopefully have tournaments that would influence economics in Tullahoma, such as the old softball tournaments that we used to have, where we'd fill up our restaurants and fill up our hotels. And they have been very involved in youth sports, building up the Johnson Lane facilities and that kind of thing. But one of the main things they wanted to do was start a Sports Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And is what led to it. Jimmy Stewart and his wife, when Jimmy passed away, they left part of their estate to the Sports Council to have funds that would help initiate the Hall of Fame and continue on. And if you go to D.W. Wilson, there's a room there that has every inductee's plaque, so lots of information on him, and behind some, or her, and behind some glass windows, there's a lot of mementos of those inductees. And that's another thing that's probably under-publicized, I think. Not a lot of people know this room.
It's a nice room.
It's worth the visit to just spend a half hour over there and see who those people are.
Well, I'm going to ask a question that I should know, but I don't know the answer to, and I'll
you're hoping that I can handle that?
I'll apologize for that. You in the Sports Hall of Fame?
I'm not, and I'm not seeking that spot.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm seeking it for you because
you need to talk to somebody else.
No, all the people I know, there's a whole lot of them who have not done anywhere near what this gentleman right here has for our youth and the sports of Tullahoma, and just like sitting up here doing this. As far as I'm concerned, you're already in it, buddy.
John, that may be a little bit more. And let's finish with a poster. If you'll blow that up. It's got the inductees on there. It's got sponsors.
Yeah. And keep looking for this in the future, and find out about it and get involved. And you know, I'm sure there's a committee that picks this, but there's also people that need to throw names into them.
There's board members that are known, and that group has a subcommittee that's purposely not known, so that they're not influenced. If somebody wants to make a nomination or thinks somebody needs to be in it, if they'll get a hold of the chairman, who's Jim Bratcher, there's some, I believe, a form now where you can nominate somebody, and that group will look at it when they meet.
Sounds good. Yeah. Pat,
thanks, John.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate all you do.
And likewise.
Okay. We'll be back after these messages.
Here at Barkview Senior Living, they're human friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Parkview Senior Living, for your dog's best friend, you.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program, and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Okay, folks, thanks for being with us today on Insight, and hope you'll keep watching on our network, Channel 193 on Charter, and we'll see you next time, maybe with a little more insight.